Right. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We have covered about whenever we want to do the portfolio, right? So we have to have a portfolio, call it the policy. What should we do, what should be done, and what should not be done, right? So basically, the policy actually can guide us, okay, whenever we have, when we are setting up our portfolio. Now, the another idea is that, okay, another step is to construct the portfolio. Okay, first we have the policies, the guidelines put in place in writing. Okay, and then now we have to construct the portfolio. So we have to use the investment policy and capital market expectation as portfolio assets. Okay, we have to define the securities eligible for inclusion in a particular portfolio and use an optimization procedure to select securities and determine the proper portfolio weight. Now, this Markowitz provide what call it a model. Okay, Harry Markowitz modern portfolio theories. Right? Yeah. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Well, yeah, let's do.
وعليكم السلام
All
دكتور.
right. Good. All right. So basically, we have Markowitz portfolio. Not been on this side. Have to change. Okay. Change. Okay. You. Get it now. How to be able to okay. Right. Or share the screen. Share the screen. Good. Testing. After. No, 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 not share the screen. Just this one. Oh, speaker. Testing one. No. Ready? It's okay. As long as you can see. Um, I need to have to study, you know, because this is okay. Right. Okay. Now, Harry Marcos has formulated this modern portfolio theory in 1955. Okay. He was 70 something years ago. So it is very simple. Okay, you just take the average return of your assets, and then you also take the average, I will call it risks. Okay, using a weightage method. Using a weightage method. So the risk, we know that how we want to calculate risk is from looking at the volatility is calculating standard deviation. Okay, standard deviation. Okay, why we use standard deviation? Okay, I want you to imagine this or try to conceptualize this. Okay, now we have like a normal average. Okay, normal average of heights. Okay, among us. Maybe the average is about 170 average. Okay, 160. Okay, 160, right? Okay, 160. So how we calculate average? We take all the heights, okay, of individual, you add it all, then you divide by number of, okay, then you get average. Or in Bahasa Malaysia, we call it Keracha. Okay? Okay, we call it Keracha, right? Okay. In Indian language, I don't know. What do you call it? Mean or average? Mean, average.
Yeah, different states has different languages. English,
Huh?
English.
Just like a mathematic word, eh? Mathematic word. Okay. Aggregate.
Sarasari, Sarasari,
Shad,
Sarasari.
Sharia, Sadiq. Okay. All right. Now, we understand that, okay, based on your own language, so it's actually, we call it the average height of the student in this class, 160. Now, some, okay, maybe, how tall are you?
7.
170, okay? You? 160. Oh, you are the same as the average, okay? You? 145, you? 165. 150, 168, 152, 147, 167. So we add all together, okay, then we divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Then we can get maybe, yeah, 160. Hypothetical, okay? We didn't want to calculate, but hypothetically, 160. Okay. So that is our average. Okay, the same thing for calling in the stock market, for example, we have an average price. Okay, so let's say we draw a line, that's the average price of the movement of the stock. Okay, but the actual price does not fall on 160, then it's not right. The actual would be higher or maybe would be lesser. Right? So if we plot that in our diagram, okay, we have the average price, say it is straight, okay, or maybe it's not that it's straight, but we also have the actual, which is above and also lower, right? Above and lower. Now, the one which is above, for example, you look at the distance okay, from the average, okay, is the deviation. Okay, is the deviation. For example, you want 60, right? Okay, you want just now 1, 5, 4. 145. So 15 ACM is the deviation. Okay. Okay, deviation. And then you 5. 165, right? Is 5 positive is the deviation. She is about 15 negative, right? And the same. So the same thing as whatever chart that you put, okay, you have an actual price and an average price. Okay, the deviation is we want to calculate. Okay, the deviation, and it's not only one deviation, full sample deviation. So when we calculate the deviation, we get the total deviation. Okay, total deviation. So why we call it standard deviation? Okay, we have standard deviation because there are we call it 3. One standard, for example, we can calculate 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviation, 3 standard deviation. Okay. So 1 standard deviation, there is a standard deviation. 2 standard deviation, there is a times 2 standard deviation. 3 will be times 3 standard deviation. Okay. Okay, that's when we want to calculate the risk. The risk is the volatility. Okay, the volatility of the price or the sell price. Okay, the volatility. So when you look at the volatility or the deviation, which one would be higher risk? Low deviation or high deviation? High deviation. So lower risk. High deviation, lower risk. Or low deviation, lower risk. Low deviation will be lower risk. Correct. Okay. Low deviation shows that the risk is lower. Because, for example, if you are doing the door, okay, and we have a very high deviation. Some would be 30 cm, some would be 50 cm, then the deviation. Okay, the tinggi lah. Okay, so the risk of people getting hit, okay, on the head will be higher because the deviation is high. Okay, from the mean. For mean is now 160 plus 50, 210. No, 220. 210 centimeter, very high. Okay. So, 60 cm or inches. Right? So the higher the deviation, the higher the risk. So that's why we want to have a low, okay, standard deviation. Okay, low standard deviation, which means that the price does not go far away from the average. Okay, it does not go out far from the norms. So we can expect. So, right? Now, for example, now if this part is all Malays, very simple. The culture is the same, okay, the food almost the same, right? So the risk is low. Okay, because we already expect it. We already expect, okay, they use the saving. But when we have diverse, multiracial, for example, multi-countries, then culture will not be the same. Religion might not be the same, right? Okay, so there will be some risk there. So, for example, if you prepare pizza, then maybe today's pizza. Okay, now this pizza, right? Lots. Okay, especially Gen. You are Gen Z, right? You are Gen Y. Like that, Gen Z. Gen Z also. Why? Gen X. Gen Y is millennial. Why? Okay. So majority Gen Z. Okay. Gen Z they okay. Only they eat pizza. Okay. Baby boomers, not many eating pizza. Right? Baby boomers. They still want to eat rice. Okay. Gen X also will still want to eat rice. Okay. Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they don't care. They don't want to eat rice. Gen Alpha. Okay. All right. So the lower the risk, the lower the variation. Okay. I mean, the lower the variation, the lower. So this mathematics do a simple mathematics. Okay, simple mathematics using this. Okay, using this one. Okay, now when we talk about asset allocation, okay, asset allocation. How much you want to put? How much you want to invest for that particular asset? Okay, firstly, we have to know that there are different type of asset, different type of categories. And when we look at previously, we have money market, then we have unit trust, also have Sukuk market, derivative. Okay, so there are different type of asset, and they have different type of risks and also return. Okay. So the most important decision is differences in asset in allocation cause differences in portfolio performance. Okay. Differences in the asset, they will have difference in performance. Okay, if you put all your money in cash, and then you put cash, is there any return? No return. Okay, all your portfolio is in cash, there will be no return. Okay, no risk, no return. Okay, but if you put certain amount of your money in the money market, certain amount in the unit trust, certain amount in the stock market, then you will have different return from the cash, right? Okay. But how do you want to calculate? If you put your money in money market, unit trust, and stock market, because they will be providing different returns. Definitely, we know that stock market is higher, okay, risk compared to money market, right? But when you have a higher risk, then supposedly, okay, you should provide higher return, okay? So higher return. So basically, it will be different. Okay, stock market compared to unit trust, compared to money market, compared to cash. Okay, you still need to hold cash, but that cash is not providing any. So this is what we call it efficient. Okay. Factors to consider: return requirement, risk tolerance, time horizon, age of performance. We look. The first is actually looking at the return requirement. What is your return requirement? What do you expect? Okay, for example, last week we have covered about you want to have like how many millions? You want to do 3 million because you need about 15 or 10,000. 10,000 per month, right? 10,000 per month. Do you want to know how much the undergraduate student requires to retire? One class, 15,000. Okay, one class. The other class, they need 25,000 per month. Ah. And then I say to them, master student, only 10,000 plus. 10,000. Okay, but they 15 and 25. But the best part is that the other class, the one which is 25 on the higher end, they spend 15,000, they infart 10,000. Okay? They infart 10,000 at the people and get child, children, and so on. So which is very interesting, you know, as if you ask great grandmother, grandfather, okay, maybe for them 1,000 is already enough. 1,000 is sufficient already, especially when they are living in the kampung villages. 1,000 very rich already. To them is very rich already, right? But nowadays 25,000 is still going, still going. If you ask the younger generation, it might be higher because we do the same thing. How much you eat, how much do you okay? The one which have a higher pay, they want a BB first. First they want a BB. Okay, but later on they decide not to have BB. So they just spend. Okay, but just the most of the spending is they also include shopping. Shopping. You didn't include shopping. Right. Why? You only include travel, groceries, but not shopping. Okay? But they include, right? So that's why it's actually goes to 35,000. All right. So the return requirement will depend on your target. If your target is 3 million, how much is the return that you do? How much do you need for your class? What is the percentage that you get 3.9 million? 7%? Don't remember. You calculate that, okay? Right. And then risk tolerance. Now, risk tolerance also the same thing. I am also mentioned Mak Rempit. You know Mak Rempit? Their risk tolerance is very, very. Okay, they are risk takers. Right. Risk takers, and then they don't care about the return. Okay? If you are a risk taker, but you're still caring about the return, then it's okay. But Mak Rempit, they don't care. They just want to have the adrenaline rush. You have adrenaline rush. Okay, whenever you do speed, right? So and then you can feel the adrenaline rush, right? Okay, in your veins. Okay? Somewhere around there. Okay? So that's the thing. That's the satisfaction that they get. Right? So risk tolerance also. Rambut sama hitam. It's like this. Rambut sama hitam. Happy diamond. Do you understand? So translate Arabic. Ah. 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 Pirate lah juga bagi direct dia. Qalbi, mafi sawa. Ini apa? Mesti pula dah. Okay, masih baik. Saya dulu belajar sampai sekolah menengah. Okay. Understand? Do you understand the meaning?
Parents will be same, but their mind will be different.
Okay. Right? Your hobby might be different. Kalau B ke kalau pun. Kan jadi anjing tak kan? Kalau anjing apa? Cat. Kalau bahaya syarat ni. Tukar je kof dengan kap je. Ha. Okay. Alright. Then we have time horizon. Okay. Now, if you want to get married, for example, if you want to get married tomorrow, you cannot give names. Stop matter. Right. You're going to get married tomorrow. Yeah. But if you want to get married 10 years, okay, in the future, then you can keep in maybe school, or maybe money market, or maybe stock market. Right. So time horizon is also very important. Okay, why I say that when you get married tomorrow, but you cannot put in the stock market, whenever you buy the stock market, whenever you buy the stock, okay, you'll be losing money. Once you buy, you lose money. Brokerage. Brokerage. Okay, even though you buy at, for example, RM1, but when you minus your brokerage, you have lose your capital a bit, right? Buy, confirm rugi, buy, confirm loss. Okay, then you have to wait. So it's a game of patience. It's a game of waiting. So if you want to make money tomorrow, when you sell again, you will be deducted. Even though the price is not moving yet, okay, you have to deduct the brokerage. So one time brokerage deduction, selling also another brokerage deduction. So basically you lose money. Right? You lose money. Okay. So that's why when you want to use your money tomorrow, you keep as okay. Time about horizon. Age of investor. This one we have covered last week, right? Age of investor. Your age should invest in higher return, higher risk. Correct. The one who are between 40 to 50 or maybe 35 to 50, right? They should invest in a moderately risk and moderate return. People who are retired, they should invest in low risk, low return. Okay, yang tu kan kita lista A, B, and C. A high risk, B moderate, C is the low risk. Right? C is the pensioner, B is the mid career, and then A will be the early career. Okay. Okay, strategic asset allocation. Okay, simulation procedures used to determine level of outcome associated with each asset metric. So establish long run strategic asset mix. Okay, strategic asset allocation we have to do in simulation. Okay. That's why whenever you do your assignment, okay, you will see what will be the best asset allocation. When you choose that, okay, what will be the best? Okay, as I mentioned before, right? And I know that the woman doesn't like the analogy, but remember the analogy? Very, very remember, right? Remember till you die. From Adli, okay, analogy about